Hey everyone, it's Charlie Plays, and welcome to the second part of Emilie's story quest. I'm not gonna hog out this intro, I'm just gonna get straight into it. We need to go tell Tainari what's going on. So, into the video. Oh, I thought it was Kenichi. I was like,
whoa, why the rush? Did something happen?
Yeah, I need your tail. You explain everything.
What? Edgar was attacked.
Yeah, he was attacked. He was chloroformed.
He's the most famous perfumer in the region. Someone who's helped countless people around Port Ormos. How could this happen?
They made him drink a ghost, apparently.
Sheriff, have you received any reports of a suspicious individual fleeing through the bazaar?
No, but we've got eyes all over the area. I'm sure someone's seen Kyria. I'll start gathering my forces. We won't let him get away.
Are they framing Kyria?
What about you, Tainari? Do you have a plan?
I'm sure the sheriff can handle things over at the scene, and I doubt Emilie needs my help looking after Mr. Edgar.
But she said she's not a real doctor.
Then she was far too modest. She may not be a doctor by trade, but she has a deeper understanding of human anatomy and pharmacology than most scholars from the Amorta Darshan. Not to mention the fact that Mr. Edgar's condition is related to perfume. Emilie is certainly in the best position to help him. As for me, I'll head to the academia and see what I can learn about Vijava and Kyria.
Oh,
Nice.
That's right! Vijava was supposed to be a scholar from Sumeru. Do you recognize the name?
You might do.
From Emilie's letter, certainly, but that was the first time I'd heard of it. The academia produces a lot of scholars, and there are plenty of graduates who choose to pursue a career outside their darshan. I didn't have time to look into it earlier, but now it seems like Vijava's past could be critical to getting to the bottom of what happened to Mr. Edgar.
The eye emotions, dude.
I have friends in Sumeru City that can help me investigate. With any luck, we'll have news to share by tomorrow. I'll leave you and Emilie to watch over things here in Port Ormos.
The fact she's out here could be bad or good. Please tell me you were able to save Edgar. She doesn't look very happy.
Emily!
How's that go?
No longer in critical condition, thankfully. He's still very weak, but with a bit more rest, he should regain consciousness soon. My chemical analysis of a goose also went smoothly, although it certainly raised some questions.
Questions?
I was able to identify the components that give the substance its fragrance, but I also noticed an abnormal trace of elemental energy in the sample.
Well, wouldn't you believe it? What? They made it so it was poison? What?
Elemental energy?
Would that have an effect on the body? Of course it would, a normal human body.
Hard to say. It was such a minute amount, proportionally speaking, like mixing a single drop of perfume into the ocean. I had to use one of the newest tests developed in recent years to even detect the traces present in the sample. Unless you were abnormally sensitive to elemental energy, I doubt it would have any effect, even if you use the product every day for 10 years. As for whether Master's condition was caused by the elemental energy present in the sample or some other component of the perfume, it's still too early to say.
He's possibly allergic.
Oh, that reminds Paimon. Did Tainari come and find you? Maybe we could ask him to take a look.
I received a message from him last night, but I haven't heard anything since. The message said he was looking into some information at the academia.
Oh, Paimon thought he might have stopped by to see you first. Excuse me? Is Miss Emilie here?
Kale! Kale?
Oh, perfect! Familiar faces! Traveler, Paimon, you're here too!
Oh, she's so much more confident now. She's like, I know you guys, yeah. Social anxiety is
Kale.
something.
Ah, of course. Tainari's apprentice. He's mentioned you many times. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. And please, no need for formalities. Emilie is just fine.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you too, Miss, Emilie.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Did Tainari send you here, Kale? Yep. Master and the others went through decades worth of records last night, and still haven't had a chance to rest. I'm fast on my feet, so it only made sense for me to come and give you an update. Anyway, based on what they've reviewed so far, they believe there's no indication that a researcher by the name of Java ever passed through the academia.
That's strange. Could it have been an alias?
Master considered that possibility as well, but the name wasn't the only dead end. Master tried to track down people with a similar research direction or background, but also couldn't find a match. How is that possible?
Maybe her identity as a researcher from Sumeru was a ruse all along.
It's starting to seem very likely. If we want to figure out her true identity, I'm afraid another conversation with those two merchants might be our only...
Hey! Lucian!
It's Sylvain! Wait, you don't think Curio came back?
That seems impossible. If someone came in or out of the hotel just now, we would have seen them.
So it's Lucian or it's the other one. You rush into the hallway to head into the room. You try to enter.
It's locked?
I'll try to break it open. The door gives away with a bang, and you enter the room. Cutscene? Cutscene? It's gonna be like a Danganronpa thing.
There's no one here.
Lucian! Lucian! Come on! Wake up!
Is he going to be okay?
Emilie! Emilie! My brother. He's gonna be okay, right? He's just unconscious. Like what happened to Edgar.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sylvain, but we were too late this time.
Oh God! If he did this,
No, that's not possible.
I'm sus of you, dude. I'm sus of you. Ain't gonna lie. Can't
Traveler,
believe he's
Holly,
dead.
Mr. Sylvain has gone through a huge shock. He needs some space to calm down. Could one of you take him next door? It's not good for him to look at his brother's body like this.
Of course. Leave it to me.
I'll notify the sheriff.
Thank you both.
Can't believe Collie had to experience. Oh my God, poor Collie.
Mr. Sylvain, let's get you up. Here, take my hand. Nice and slow. We'll take things from here. Just focus on getting some rest. Here, this way.
Don't know how to react, like.
Poor guy. He's like a shell of his former self. He may have made some bad decisions in life, but right now, Paimon can't help but feel sorry for him.
Can't help but feel
Good
sad.
person or bad, the death of a loved one is equally painful.
True.
All the moments he shared with his brother, every hardship and triumph they endured together, are now memories he has to carry alone.
Maybe that's what Curio wanted.
If Curia really was behind this, then what exactly did he do to Lucian?
Lucian can no longer speak, but the traces left behind by his death most certainly can. Traveler, I've got things covered here at the scene. I'll leave you to contact the sheriff.
On it. Some time passes and Sheriff Shime rushes to the scene.
Who would have thought? Yesterday's case is still up in the air, and now this happens.
Why are they suddenly all
Miss
dropping?
Emilie, I heard you're an experienced forensic doctor. Have you been able to discover anything?
Oh, I'm not actually a forensic doctor. I just happen to have some relevant knowledge.
It's too modest.
I
dude.
did take a look, though. Judging by the temperature and rigidity of the body, it appears the time of death was sometime last night. I'd have to do a more thorough investigation to find out more.
Come on, gonna find out.
Then, would you mind helping us investigate? Before he left, Tainari said we could trust your judgment if something like this were to happen.
Of course, I
I'm obsessed with
appreciate your
everyone,
trust.
dude.
Many of the traces
I'm
left
obsessed with the
behind at the
sheriff.
scene will fade with time, so the sooner we investigate, the better.
We'll help too. We don't know much about dead bodies, but you can leave the other clues to us.
So, Did you find anything?
There are no signs of forced entry.
Paimon can show you. Here, it'd be something like this.
Literally. There are no forced entry. There's only 2 people there and one of them died.
Entering through the room next door without alerting Sylvain. Wait, you don't think Sylvain could have been the one who...
No, his reaction to the loss of his brother seemed genuine. And he doesn't have a motive.
You don't know if he doesn't have a motive, and you don't know if he's a good actor. Bruh!
Then, what could have happened last night? I know Sylvain is still in shock, but he's our only available witness. We have to take his statement.
I agree. Also, I've made some new discoveries, so we might as well head next door and go through everything together.
Oh. The body has been cold for some time already, and there are no signs of a struggle. No further clues have been found yet.
Mr. Sylvain, I need you to tell me everything you and your brother did since yesterday afternoon. Did you see or hear anything strange?
After Kyria attacked Edgar, my brother and I were incredibly careful. We returned to our rooms and decided to lock all the doors leading to the hallway. The only door we kept unlocked was the one connecting our rooms. That way, if we heard any commotion coming from the other room, we could help each other. But I didn't hear any sort of commotion last night. Not a single noise. I woke up this morning, opened the door, and Lucian was...
So, no movement from the room next door. No forced entry via Sylvain's room. No signs of a struggle at the scene. And no external injury on Lucian's body.
I don't know.
What kind of cause of death are we dealing with here?
I did notice a few things about the body. Lucian's pupils were dilated and his skin was flushed. Very similar to Master's symptoms after the attack yesterday. There weren't any traces of liquid in his mouth or nose, so it's unlikely he was forced to ingest anything. The more plausible explanation is that he inhaled a substance without knowing it. And I'd say that substance was likely a ghost.
A goose? No, that's not possible. Inhaling a goose won't kill you. And anyway, it would have been for just one night. No, that's not what I meant. Emilie, you ran your tests, didn't you? Go on, tell everyone whether you found any poison.
No, I didn't find any common toxins.
Huh. See? A ghost is harmless. The market response proved that years ago.
That may be true for most people, but not for everyone.
He's awake and he talks. Yay.
Master!
Edgar? You're up and about already?
He can tell us. He can tell us.
Thanks to Emilie.
Tell us who
I'm
attacked you. Who
out
attacked
of
you?
the
Who attacked
woods
you? Who
for
attacked you?
now.
Quick, tell us.
Sylvain, no matter how hard you may try to hide it, the truth will always come to light.
Edgar!
Even if we could keep it a secret for another 10 or 20 years, do you think Kyria would just let us be? No. He would never give up. Not if he's doing all of this for Yelena. That's Vijava's real name. Yelena wasn't a scholar from Sumeru. She was an exiled Fatus from Snezhnaya.
Oh, Fatus?
The Fatui. Well, that means the elemental energy present in Auguste was...
Ah, so you've already detected it. Well, Sylvain, looks like there's truly no reason to hide things now.
Oh,
The Auguste flower was created with the mutative and distorting power of a delusion.
A delusion?
The Fatui, delusions. I never would have thought Auguste was hiding this many secrets.
No, I can't believe it. Which Fatui was
Born
it?
of a
Yelena.
delusion, Auguste contained distorted elemental energy. A prolonged exposure over many years could have a harmful effect on the body.
That's enough, Edgar. I'll take it from here. At first, Yelena wanted to keep refining the perfume and the flower. But no one knew how long the perfume mania was going to last back then. It didn't have any effect on ordinary people anyway. Every day we postponed going to market was another day of lost earning potential.
So you decided poisoning people was worth the risk?
Listen, it's not like it was good for business. But all that talk about Auguste being harmful over time, Yelena was just speculating. The impact was practically negligible. Unless you were particularly sensitive to elemental energy or had an entire bottle shoved down your throat like Edgar. You could use the product for decades and be completely fine.
It may be true there are no records of Auguste poisoning in Fontaine, but even if no one was acutely poisoned, willfully bringing a product to market despite explicit knowledge of its harmful effects is still a serious crime.
The divine and noble Auguste originated from a delusion, and if the truth came out, the market for your product would be destroyed.
That explains why you were so intent on keeping Yelena and Kiria's involvement a secret all this time, despite readily confessing to all your financial crimes. The Fatui, delusions, Auguste. If the Marechaussee Phantom discovered the connection between the three, there would have been enough evidence to send you to the Fortress of Meripede for life.
Yeah, he should be down.
If I'd known coming to Sumeru would put a target on my back, I would have been more than happy to stay there. At least that way, Lucien would still be alive. All these years without any sign of Kyria, and he pops up out of nowhere the minute my brother and I get out of prison? It couldn't be any clearer who the kid's after. Auguste was harmless before. The fact that it's killing people all of a sudden must be his doing as well.
So there's bad blood between you.
What about Yelena's death? Was that a cover-up too? A way to destroy evidence?
I'll admit, we thought about it at one point. We took care to disguise the product circulating on the market, and no one was questioning Yelena's fake identity. But if the Marechaussee Phantom decided to look into the flower beds, it would have been the end. Yelena's ties to the Fatui, the role of the delusion, everything would have been exposed. Before we could even put our plan in motion, Yelena beat us to it. She burned all her flower beds and threw herself into the fire as well.
But if her goal was to destroy evidence, there would have been no reason to do that to herself.
Because she was evidence, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, she could have just burned the flower beds and fled with her brother.
I thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't until just now that I finally understood her reasoning. Everything she did, it was for her brother, Kyria. One of the reasons they defected from the Fatui was the deterioration of Yelena's body due to her excessive use of a delusion. She didn't want her brother to follow in her footsteps after her death. After arriving in Fontaine, Yelena continued using the delusion to cultivate the Auguste flower, weakening her body even further. There were times when she couldn't even walk.
So she couldn't flee with her brother because she was afraid of holding him back.
If her true identity was exposed, she and her brother would face pressure from both Snezhnaya and Fontaine.
I kind of get it.
The Auguste flower and Yelena's own corroded body both bore the mark of a delusion. There would have been no way to avoid suspicion.
So she did what she had to.
So, in the end, she burnt it all to ash, including herself. With all the evidence erased, Kyria was free to take the Mora and run.
So the wealth you earned from Auguste, it wasn't destroyed in the fire. Yelena gave it to her brother?
Most likely. Before Yelena died, she said if anything happened to her, she was going to leave everything to her brother. We just didn't realize she meant our cut as well. That's why Lucien and I were searching for Kyria, to take back our Mora and the Auguste flower. We just didn't realize Kyria was baiting us the whole time. It was all a trap.
But why is Kyria out for revenge anyway? Doesn't he know about Yelena's decision to sacrifice herself?
Let's face, still blames them.
I don't think he knew his sister was nearing death. Yelena always wore heavy makeup around him to conceal her deteriorating appearance. She kept herself busy with work to keep out of sight. That way her brother wouldn't notice how she could barely walk.
Then all we'll need to do is tell Kyria what really happened, and then he'll give up on his revenge.
I doubt it's as easy as that, Paimon.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Cole's
Even
got
if
it.
he knew the truth, he'd still find someone to blame. He might think Yelena was forced into using a delusion to cultivate a Auguste, or something like that.
She's already on it.
It's hard to pull yourself out of that kind of hatred, especially when you've been living in that headspace for so many years.
Oh, please. She can relate to it because of what she went through.
Very true. Even if Yelena's death was her own choice, I wouldn't call myself innocent either.
Edgar, what are you talking about?
Think about it, Sylvain. If we hadn't been in such a hurry to capitalize on the perfume mania all those years ago, do you think Yelena would have elected to take those risks?
Probably not.
If we hadn't been so blinded by greed, so insistent on increasing the scale of the flower cultivation, do you think Yelena's health would have deteriorated as fast as it did? If we hadn't invited the Marechaussee Phantom to our doorstep by breaking the law at every turn, Yelena could have survived.
You can't think like that though, dude. It's not your fault.
She knew her limits. She knew her days were numbered.
Yep.
Maybe it was for her brother, but she was in it for the Mora just as much as us.
Gotta agree
We
with
were
that.
just trying to earn a bit of Mora. And what, we deserve to die for that? Target me for being the mastermind, sure. But what about Lucien? He was just following my orders. Lucien's crime, was it really so extreme that he had to pay for it with his life?
The only person that can answer that question is a judge.
Fine. I've said my piece anyway.
3 people from Fontaine, 1 from Snezhnaya, and a crime committed in Port Ormos. What a headache.
What's gonna happen?
Well, we can only wait until the Academia sends someone to deal with it. I'm guessing we'll have to contact Fontaine as well.
Another letter's on it.
In any case, we won't really know anything until tomorrow.
It's always tomorrow. Tomorrow,
With the exhibition,
tomorrow.
we don't even have space in Port Ormos to detain anyone. Such a headache.
The hotel could suffice. You could station a few officers to keep an eye on Sylvain and myself. Although with Sylvain's mental state and my physical one, I don't think you need to worry about a jailbreak.
Mr. Edgar, are you saying...
If Sylvain is to stand trial, then I deserve the same fate. A crime is a crime, accomplice or not. I'd just like to take care of a few things before I go. Say goodbye to my plants and all that.
Say goodbye to your plants, bro. They can't hear you.
As for Sylvain, I'm sure he also has some goodbyes of his own. Would you be willing to grant?
Well,
Didn't mean to
all
stop.
right. I'll talk to the
would you be willing to grant that request, Sheriff?
The man we grew to know in Sumeru proved himself to be a good person. Your request is granted. Well, alright. I'll talk to the Academia. No matter who you were in Fontaine or what crimes you committed.
You have my thanks, Sheriff.
But if we wait until tomorrow, doesn't that mean something could still happen tonight?
Happen tonight? Oh, you mean the possibility that Kyria might try to finish what he started?
Yeah, all we know is that he uses a goose to poison people, but we still have no idea how to catch him in the act. If he targets Sylvain or Edgar again, we might not be able to stop him.
That may be true, but what if we can take advantage of his desperation?
Desperation?
If we take advantage of this situation and lure him in on purpose, we might finally have the chance to talk to him.
True. What's your
Master,
plan, then?
no. That's too dangerous.
Oh, okay.
So, that's your plan. If Kyria learns we're being taken away tomorrow, his last chance to enact his revenge would be tonight.
Good thinking.
In other words, you want to use us as bait to capture him.
Capture? Not necessarily. I just want to talk. What? Are you afraid of him?
Well, he did kill his brother, so.
Afraid? This is my only chance to make him pay for what he did. I'm spending the rest of my life in prison anyway. I can't just sit back and let him ride off into the sunset with our fortune. There's no way I'm letting him get away with it. Not after what he did to Lucian. As for the danger, everyone else just needs to make preparations in advance to protect us.
I'll admit, it could work. We just need to spread the word that Edgar and Sylvain are leaving tomorrow. Then I'll
How are we
station some
gonna
of
do
my
that?
men around the hotel. If we have your assistance as well, our chance of success would be even higher.
I still have some reservations. But if you insist on carrying out this plan, I won't deny you my help.
We can help, thank God.
I'll also keep watch.
Hey.
Although I think Sylvain and myself should remain alone in our respective rooms. If Kyria noticed another person in the room, he might decide to turn back. And besides, it's possible he's already transformed Auguste into a potent toxic gas.
You mean if he doesn't see a way to get his hands on the two of you, he might get so desperate that he'll just start using a goose on everybody?
You're just killing everyone.
If that were to happen, everyone's standing guard. Even the innocent citizens in Port Ormos would all be in danger.
That's why everyone else needs to keep to the shadows.
He still isn't best.
You're still recovering. You need to rest.
This old pack of bones doesn't bounce back like it used to. I suppose I'll just have to leave the rest to you.
Alright, we can figure out a plan to keep watch later. Right now, I say we split up, start spreading that information before it's too late.
With everyone's help, the news about Auguste, as well as Edgar's release from Hacha, begins to spread.
Have you heard? Mr. Edgar's been detained. He's being taken away tomorrow.
What? He's the one who helped craft all the fragrances for our shop.
Sus.
He taught my child how to make perfume.
He hasn't been convicted yet. Let's just wait and see what the court has to say.
Well, that's an amazing voice. He hasn't been convicted yet. Let's see what court has to say. He's proper British.
Oh, everyone on the street is talking about the rumors. No matter
Who's
where
this?
Kyrie
Who's
is
this?
hiding,
Who's
you
that?
must have heard them by now.
Who's that? Who's that?
Let's head back to the hotel and take a break. We can see how the other preparations are going while we're at it.
Hell yeah. You can see if they're already attacking on her. If they're just spraying everywhere. Spraying a goose everywhere. Oh, it's Emily. I was like, what the hell's that? There has been a cutscene.
Emily, Sheriff Xian wants to talk to you and the Traveler about our plans for the Night Watch.
Thank you, Kale. But first, here, I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why don't you have some?
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm okay.
Oh, it's not good to be so tense, especially when we've got a long night ahead of us. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I couldn't help but notice that something seems to be on your mind.
Was it that obvious?
Pretty much.
You seem very preoccupied with Kiria's revenge. If there's anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to listen.
Oh,
No.
Hey, Emily, Kale. Oh, are we interrupting something?
Yes, you are.
No, not at all. This will be easier to talk through with you here anyway.
Okay.
I've just been thinking. If Kiria has the capacity to commit murder while remaining completely undetected, why didn't he target Sylvain along with Lucien last night? There was just a single door separating them. If his intention was to target both brothers, then there was barely anything standing in his way. Don't you think? When I accompanied Sylvain to his room after Lucien died and saw how distraught he was, I suddenly realized maybe Kiria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain to experience the pain of losing a loved one before he completed his ultimate revenge. So did he attack Edgar as a warning then? To scare Sylvain and Lucien?
Based on what we've heard about Kiria, that may very well be the case.
Losing his sister all those years ago. What has been going through his head? What has he been forced to endure? Whenever I get to thinking like that, I just can't help but wonder. If I were in his place, would I be able to let go of that hatred?
Girl, you literally were like trapped with Tori for years and years. And you were able to let go of the hatred of people not saving you. Like, you can mention it. So, yeah, you would.
I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't think like that. Not after everything he's done. But I just can't help it.
There's nothing wrong with the way you're feeling. Empathy is a part of human nature.
Real, it just shows that you're a good human.
In all my years of cleaning up crime scenes, I've witnessed countless families mourn their loved ones. Their cries of devastation and anger still echo through my mind, even now. Some of them even try to stop me, begging me not to erase the last remnants of their loved ones. But getting swept up in those emotions will corrupt your judgment. Surround yourself with fragrance for too long, and your sense of smell will become dull. Allow yourself to be consumed by your emotions, and you lose the ability to think rationally. So while you hold on to that sense of empathy, you also need to ask yourself, do Sylvain and Lucien really deserve to die? How much did they truly know about the Fatui and the delusion? Did they force Yelena to make those decisions? Answering those questions requires a lot of time and evidence, while a single act of vengeance can put those answers forever out of our reach. I've witnessed a lot of deaths in Fontaine. When someone dies, a certain amount of information can be inferred from the traces left behind at the scene. But generally speaking, death will just leave most questions unanswered, and the whole picture ever incomplete.
Once you're consumed by hatred, it will become next to impossible to think about things that way. For someone like Kiria, I'm sure right and wrong lost all meaning a long time ago.
You're right. The fact that we can approach these questions from this perspective isn't because we're more rational than them. It's because we're fortunate enough not to have suffered that kind of loss.
The fact of what she's been through, and Kale, the fact of everything she went through. If you've read the manga, you know, and she's just so kind. And she can literally... She's not over it, but she's okay. It just... I can't even begin to imagine how that would feel from her perspective after what happened.
But that also makes us perfectly positioned to stand on the outside and try to pull them back from the brink before it's too late. I understand Kyria's decision, but I still want to stop him. Master, Sylvain, and Kyria. They all deserve to survive.
Yeah. Kyria just needs to cool off a bit and think rationally.
Huh. The fortunate and the unfortunate.
Edgar. Is there more to hiding? Oh.
Emilie, traveler. Huh? Edgar, you're here too?
Oh, it's you two! Didn't you head back to your room to rest, Edgar? Is it really okay for you to be out and about like this?
A little exercise never hurt anyone. Besides, I don't have much time left in Sumeru. So I'd like to take care of my plants while I still can.
Bro loves his plants.
We could do that for you, Master.
Yeah, she's a perfumist, but she knows how to look after
need.
flowers and shit.
I've grown attached to these flowers, and this is my last chance to say goodbye.
Oh, I thought she meant like
Come
after he's
tomorrow.
gone.
I'll be happy to entrust their care to you. I would imagine Sheriff Sham is here for a more important reason.
The Night Watch! You mentioned earlier that we still need to confirm our plans.
That's right. I've stationed some of my men around the surrounding area, but we still don't have anyone standing guard next to Sylvain's room.
Next to Sylvain's room? You mean in Lucian's room?
Exactly. After some discussion, we concluded that Sylvain has the highest risk of being attacked next. You're the most skilled fighter here, Traveler. And Emilie's expertise is sure to come in handy in a pinch. That's why I want you two stationed next to Sylvain's room. So, are you up for it?
Fine with me. What about you, Emilie?
Sounds perfectly reasonable. I'll be glad to have your help tonight, Traveler.
Let's go. It's a shoot. You were in Lucy's room for quite a long time.
Huh. Not a peep. Has Kyria given up on his revenge?
I don't know. But we'll find out in the next video. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this second part. I think in the third part we're gonna get a rundown, we're gonna get a showdown, and we're gonna find Kyria. This is getting interesting. I'm really liking it so far. There hasn't been a cutscene, but I hope there will be in the next video. If you guys like this video, hit the like, hit subscribe, and comment your opinions. Turn notifications on if you want to be notified of future videos. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.